Dear friends, the question we carried out of last episode was, that voice in you that insists on winning. If it fell quiet, what would the rest of you still want to do? My weather this week had more sun in it than usual. One evening I did nothing but tidy a bookshelf and cook a pot of soup. No winning, no losing, nobody scoring it. And there was a fullness in it that felt strangely solid. But Wednesday, in a meeting, the fog rolled in fast. The can't lose voice grabbed the wheel, and it was half an hour before I came back to myself. The noticing was late, but it noticed.
Mine was more winding. Overcast, then a light rain, then clearing. Early in the week, I tried actually unplugging the must-win voice, and it scared me a little. The inside went suddenly empty. It turns out a surprising number of my days were running on that one power source, and with the plug pulled, I just stood there, blinking. Then, Thursday evening, walking slowly with family, something like a very quiet rain came down, and I found that what the rest of me wants is almost embarrassingly simple: to keep the person in front of me good company.
Thank you, Amy. Pull the plug on winning. Does the life still run? That is the exact question we each fumbled with all week, and it is the exact question Lao Tzu answers in the last line of this chapter. With pure intention, thus nothing will not be cured. Unplugged, the life doesn't stop, it runs smoother. Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to the Road to Awakening. Today we reach the final episode of Chapter 3. Across 2 weeks, Lao Tzu first diagnosed the 3 symptoms of the outward grasping heart: competing, stealing, a heart in turmoil, and then wrote the 4-part prescription: hollow the mind, substantiate the core, weaken the worldly ambition, strengthen the essence. Today, the closing lines. Saints often let the people to be innocent of worldly knowledge and desire, cause the clever ones not to dare challenge the higher state of society. With pure intention, thus nothing will not be cured.
Hello everyone, I'm Amy. Leo, I have to confess, my honest first reading of Innocent of Worldly Knowledge and Desire, it startled me. Keep the people without knowledge? To a modern ear, that sounds like the textbook definition of keeping people ignorant. Propaganda, censorship, the whole machinery.
Almost everyone who reads this chapter trips on that line. So today, we wash it properly clean. The knowledge Lao Tzu is retiring is not learning, not education, not curiosity. He is pointing at the cunning, self-certain kind of knowing, the hardened opinion that must press itself onto others. The elders describe 2 great obstructions that dim a human heart. The first is the obstruction of feeling, the cravings, the resentments, the things we cannot put down. The second is the obstruction of views. I am right. I saw through all of this long ago. And note this carefully, dear friends. The first obstruction is easy to spot, but the second is treacherous, because it always arrives dressed in the costume of being reasonable.
The obstruction of views. Wearing the costume of being reasonable. Leo, can you make that concrete?
An elder once shared an account that has never left me. There are people of unusual sensitivity who report perceiving fields of light. Brought before the cross of one faith, they describe a great light. Brought before the crescent and star of another, light again, the same light. At the deepest floor of spirit, the sources touch. And yet human beings, each gripping the view, mine is the truth, yours is the heresy, have spilled centuries of blood over the very symbols behind which the light was one. The light was never divided. The obstruction of views is the knife that cut it in 2. When Lao Tzu says to be innocent of that kind of knowing, he is asking us to set down the knife that slices the world into mine and yours.
But a knife we've gripped for decades, Leo. How does a hand like that learn to open?
At the smallest joint. The next time you're in an argument and you hear your own voice rising, right there, glance inward once. Am I actually communicating, or am I using my knowing to press down on his? That single glance, and you'll find the volume lowers by itself. Not because you surrendered, because you suddenly didn't need to win. The obstruction of views fears neither logic nor counter-argument. It fears exactly one thing: being seen.
Being seen, it loosens. The same medicine as the comparing mind in episode 1 and the grasping mind in episode 2. But the office argument is the easy case, Leo. The hardest knife to see is the one at home. We've been married 20 years. Don't tell me I don't know you. I'm your mother. I know what's best for you. The people saying those sentences would swear, hand on heart, that they are love.
And you have just located the deepest hiding place of the obstruction of views. It grows fused to love, which is why at home it is nearly invisible. We are so certain we want what's best for them that we forget to ask what they want. So let me offer a translation exercise. The next time "I'm right" is already on your tongue, try translating it before it leaves. Here's what I see. What do you see? The first half keeps all of your honesty. The second half opens the door and lets the other person's world in. Dear friends, setting down the knife is not losing the argument. It is finally clearing enough space on the table for 2 plates.
Here is what I see. What do you see? That one is coming home with me. And the second half of the line, desire? Is Lao Tzu asking us to want nothing at all, ever?
Not deadness, discernment. Zhuangzi put the stakes with complete honesty. My life has a limit, but knowledge has none. To pursue the limitless with the limited is perilous. A finite life poured into a bottomless pit, and in our era, the pit is engineered. The recommendation engine knows what you will want before you do. Every swipe of the feed is a small factory manufacturing one more want and delivering it straight through your eyes. So, innocent of worldly knowledge and desire, read today, does not mean exterminating desire. It means being able to tell which wants are actually yours and which were manufactured and fed to you. And the very moment you can tell them apart, you stop being the customer. You go back to being the master of the house.
From customer back to master. That explains a feeling I know too well. The evening after the purchase arrives, when the excitement just drains. The part that drains away, that was the manufactured part, wasn't it?
Precisely. A manufactured want, when satisfied, leaves you empty. A real need, when met, leaves you settled. That one distinction is the same thread we've been pulling all chapter. Episode 1's not seeing the allowable desires. Episode 2's hollowing of the mind. The whole chapter is doing one thing only, inviting the heart back in from outside.
Then the next line, 'cause the clever ones, not to dare, challenge the higher state of society. I'm guessing the clever ones is not a compliment either.
It isn't. On the social surface, the clever ones are the schemers, the operators who play on people's cravings. When a community returns to plainness, scheming loses its stage. There is simply no audience left to perform for. But I want to fold this line inward, where it does its real work. Because a small, clever one lives in every one of us, and it is a master of packaging. The heart is plainly greedy, and it files the report. I'm just goal-oriented. Plainly envious. I'm just driven. Plainly controlling. It's for their own good. Every report impeccably worded.
Caught. Completely caught. Last week, I insisted my family pack the luggage my way, and I argued the whole drive. Efficiency, logic, past experience, every reason gleaming. And underneath all that paperwork, there was exactly one sentence. I'm right. You've just unwrapped my packaging in public, Leo.
And the fact that you could recognize it on the spot, that is this line fulfilled. Not to dare challenge, hear it precisely. Cunning is a creature of the dark. It can only operate unseen. The moment the light of awareness lands on it, it cannot move. So you never need a cleverer scheme to defeat the scheming mind. You need one plain tool: honesty. This thought of mine, what is actually underneath it? The question is almost crude, and the clever one cannot survive it. Make it a habit. Whenever your own reasons sound too beautiful, look twice. Under the gift wrap, is there a want that doesn't want to be seen?
The prettier the reasons, the harder the second look. Noted, painfully. You know, modern psychology arrived at the same door. John Kabat-Zinn, who spent decades bringing mindfulness into clinics, defines it as paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. And his clinical finding matches the line exactly. You don't have to wrestle your thoughts into submission. Clearly seen, a thought simply loses its grip on you. So Lao Tzu's not to dare was never suppression. Under the lamp of awareness, the scheming retires on its own.
Let me pause us here for one breath. The road to awakening walks with you through one classic, chapter by chapter, until it stops being an ancient text and becomes your own heart's field manual. If these 3 weeks have given you anything, please subscribe to our channel, Voice of Heavenly Tao, and share this chapter with one friend who has been thinking too much and living too hard lately. Now, the final line of the chapter. With pure intention, thus nothing will not be cured. 6 words, the answer to the entire chapter, and the most misread words Lao Tzu ever wrote. This is his famous teaching of Wu Wei, and for centuries it has been translated in spirit as do nothing, lie back, let the world drift. But look at the evidence of the chapter itself. Hollow the mind, substantiate the core, weaken the ambition, strengthen the essence. Every instruction is hands-on. Where exactly is the lying back? Pure intention does not mean no action. It means action with the private machination removed, not forcing, not controlling, not held hostage by the outcome must obey me. The same things still get done. What changes is the one doing them. And this teaching comes with the detector you carry everywhere, your body. Have you noticed? When you are forcing, the shoulders climb, the breath goes shallow, the words speed up. When you are flowing with the same task, the shoulders hang soft and the breath sits low. So in the thick of a busy day, you can check anytime in 1 second, right now, am I doing this or am I forcing this? And the instant you catch yourself white-knuckling, that instant of catching is itself the doorway back.
So I don't need a meditation cushion to practice this. The shoulders are the bell. The moment they rise, the bell has rung.
The body is more honest than the head. It never learned to package. And here is the quiet bonus. You don't even have to fix what you catch. The shoulders rise, you notice them, and watch what happens. They come down on their own. The breath deepens on its own, without a single instruction from you. That is a tiny, complete demonstration of the whole line. The seeing did the curing, and nobody forced anything.
But Leo, I have to carry our listeners' last worry to you because it's mine too. If I truly stop being attached to outcomes, who guards the quality? The project that matters, the family that needs providing for? Doesn't not forcing slowly slide into not caring? Into just checking out?
The most asked question of 2,000 years. It deserves a clean answer. Checking out abandons the matter. Pure intention abandons the me. They move in opposite directions. Watch the checked out person closely. The work is dropped, yes, but inside, the me has never been busier. Busy fleeing, busy dreading, busy drafting its excuses. Now watch a person acting from pure intention. The me has gone quiet, and the work is done more completely, because the enormous share of energy that used to be spent on what if I lose and how do I look has all returned to the task itself. Watch a fully absorbed cook, a carpenter, a mother with her child. No me anywhere in the motion, and every motion lands. So the quality under Wu Wei doesn't drop, it rises, all the way to nothing will not be cured.
So even my worry that it might slide into checked out was the me speaking up to defend its job. You said the doer changes. Leo, changed from whom to whom?
And there it is, the heart of the whole chapter. Lao Tzu annotated this road himself, later in the book. In the pursuit of learning, every day something is gained. In the pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Drop and drop again until you arrive at non-striving. Learning adds, the way subtracts. Subtracts what? Everything this chapter has named, the comparing, the wanting, the scheming, the forcing. And when the subtraction reaches its floor, the Diamond Sutra is standing there with a lantern. The past mind cannot be obtained. The present mind cannot be obtained. The future mind cannot be obtained. Regret cannot hold the past. Anxiety cannot hold the future. Even now is gone the moment you name it. And when those three minds are finally set down, the scaffolding of the little me thins away. Yet notice, dear friends, one thing does not vanish with it: the clear, plain, wide-awake knowing. It needs no effort from you. It already sees, it already responds. Letting that one preside over the day, that is pure intention.
The past mind cannot be obtained. Leo, I have a very unglamorous confirmation of those three minds. My old insomnia, it was literally a shift schedule. First half of the night, replaying the day's wrong sentence, the past mind on duty. Small hours, rehearsing tomorrow's meeting, the future mind clocks in. And wedged between them, a supervisor pacing the corridor muttering, "Why am I still awake?" The present mind, working overtime. 3 shifts, no holidays.
The 3-shift factory, painfully exact. And when the Buddha says they cannot be obtained, he isn't denying your insomnia exists. He means none of them can be held. Grab at the regret, and what you catch is only the next fresh thought. Even now has left by the time the word lands. All 3 slip the hand. But here is what the factory metaphor reveals. Someone was watching every shift change. The one watching never clocks in and never clocks out. It was there through the insomnia. It was there in the meeting nerves. It is here, at this second, as you listen to my voice.
I've gone quiet again. So the whole chapter, all 3 weeks of it, the people, was never somebody out there. The people are our senses, our restless faculties, and the saint is the one inside who was never disturbed. Lao Tzu has been teaching one thing from the first line, an abdication. The senses step down.
The senses step down, and the one that was never disturbed resumes the seat. And once it presides, the eyes still see, the ears still hear, the work still gets done, but nothing drags you out of the house anymore. That is the real, nothing will not be cured. Not a world finally fixed, but a heart finally home. And from home, the world turns out never to have been broken. The Book of Changes carries the same map in the hexagram of decrease. Decrease what is below, Increase what is above. The way moves upward. Subtract the downward grasping, and the light above rises on its own. The end of subtraction is not emptiness, dear friends. The end of subtraction is home.
3 weeks ago, we set out from not revering the worthy. Who could have guessed the destination would be a word this quiet? Home.
And the door opens right now if you'd like to try the handle. When this episode ends, pour yourself a glass of water and drink it slowly. Not for hydration goals, not as doing a practice, wanting nothing at all. Just drink. And as it goes down, notice the simplicity. No target, no winning, and yet every motion exactly right. The one in you that already knows how, that is the one at work. You have been introduced.
Drinking a glass of water, wanting nothing. It sounds like the easiest assignment we've ever given, and I suspect it's the hardest. The hard part isn't the water, it's the wanting nothing.
Which is why we practice, and why life keeps offering free samples. Think back. Hasn't there been something you did with no thought of the outcome at all, and it came out the best, the freest? An evening fitting puzzle pieces with a child. A bowl of noodles cooked with your whole attention. That smoothness where the me went missing, that is one drop of pure intention, fallen into an ordinary day. It is not mystical. You have already met it. And now, as we close the chapter, this week's homework. 2 steps, both small. First, each day this week, the first time you unlock your phone, let your finger pause for 3 seconds and ask one question. Right now, do I need information or do I need stimulation? Ask it and then scroll if you choose. The asking is the whole practice. Second, pick one single day. On that day, every time the thought, "They're better than me," or "I have to win," pops up, jot down one word: compete. Before sleep, look at the page. No judging, just one question. Today, which names and labels carried my heart away?
One stands guard at the doorway of wanting. The other maps the footprints of comparing. And Leo, I notice neither step asks us to fix anything. No phone ban, no vow to stop comparing.
Because this chapter never taught quitting. It teaches recognizing. 3 seconds at the entrance, and you've reclaimed the doorway where desire walks in. A little page of compete marks, and the undercurrent of revering the worthy has been lifted into the light. Seen and not judged, these things simply lose their command over you. It is gentler than abstinence, and it goes far deeper.
We'll be doing it right alongside you, dear friends. And a week from now, that page of compete marks might be the most honest report card of your whole chapter. The one report card that never needs to be compared with anyone's.
Last of all, the question to carry into this week and across the doorstep of the next chapter. Was there ever something you did without thinking about the outcome at all, and you did it the best, the most freely you've ever done anything? What was that state? No hurry. Let it ferment where it falls.
I've already started thinking about it. No, started not thinking about it. Dear friends, this one isn't a memory quiz, and it isn't a philosophy exam. It only asks you to recall a taste, the ease of a moment when no me was on sight. You have tasted it. Everyone has.
If at any moment across these 3 episodes, something in you went quiet, please give the episode a like, subscribe to our channel, Voice of Heavenly Tao, and leave a comment with your weather for the whole chapter, where the fog came in and where it finally cleared. Your support is what keeps us walking this road. This is where my own learning reaches today. If anything in these 3 episodes was mistaken or poorly said, I ask the wise and enlightened ones, in their compassion, to forgive and correct me. Thank you, dear friends. We will meet again in the next chapter.
Gratitude for the grace of heaven and virtue of teachers. Thank you for listening. See you next time.